Hey, you all know Quentin. He's been here all day. Quentin's got the sticks. Maybe they're soft, maybe they're hard. We don't know.
Scene 7, take 1. Soft sticks.
Gentle, caressing, yet affirmative. So I was in D.C., and I just moderated a panel on the main stage at the convention center. And I was rushing to the other end of the building to participate in a press conference. This was in May of 2014. I was running late, and there were maybe 350,000 people between me and where I needed to go, many of whom wanted to say hello and take a photo. My security team was cutting a swath through the crowd, and I was trying very hard not to look like a complete tool when somebody ran over and grabbed me by the arm. "Hey, Mike, there's a guy backstage who really wants to meet you." "That's great," I said. "Tell him to get out here and say hello." I was walking fast, head down, determined to maintain forward momentum. "Well," said the guy, "it would be a lot easier if you just came over to him. It'll just take a second." I kept walking. "What's the problem?" I asked. "His leg's broken?" "I guess you could say that," said the guy. I think he might have been in the war. Well, that stopped me. I told the security guys to sit tight for a second and followed the guy down a long hallway, looking at my watch as we fast walked into the backstage area. We ducked behind a blue curtain, turned another corner where a man stood up to greet me. Actually, he kind of unfolded himself from a chair and lurched toward me with this big smile on his face. "Mike Rowe," he said. "What an honor. I'm retired Staff Sergeant Travis Mills, formerly the 82nd Airborne U.S. Army, and I am very pleased to meet you." His legs were not, in fact, broken, nor did they appear to be breakable. They were made of steel or titanium or aluminum or something that was definitely not flesh and bone. Likewise, the hand he extended and the arm to which it was attached were not the ones he was born with. As for the other arm, there was no trace of the original and no sign of a replacement. I shook his prosthetic hand and tried to get my head around what I was seeing. "It's nice to meet you too, Sergeant. What happened?" "I.E.D, he said. "Afghanistan." "Damn," I said. "I'm sorry." "No big deal," he said. "It's been 2 years now. Tell me something, though. When are we going to see some new dirty jobs?" What?" I said. "Dirty Jobs, man. That was our favorite show over there. When are we going to see some new ones?" "Well, Travis, I don't know. Dirty Jobs isn't in production anymore. I'm working on something new, though, that I think could be just as good." "Hey, that's great," Travis said. "I got new legs, and you got a new show. Tell me all about it." And that's the way our conversation went. My show, my foundation, my book. Travis wanted to know what it was like for me to work in so many difficult and dangerous situations. Can you imagine? How exactly does one answer a question like that from a guy like Travis? Eventually, I steered the conversation back to him and learned that Travis is one of only 5 quadruple amputees to survive that level of injury in the recent wars. He's got a foundation of his own, a wife, a couple kids, and a deeply personal commitment to help other wounded vets cope with their injuries. But when I asked him why I hadn't seen him in any of those typical commercials and PSAs for wounded veterans, his answer blew me away. He said he didn't consider himself to be wounded. His exact words were, "I'm not a victim, Mike, and I'm not going to be portrayed as one." Put yourself in my place. You're all stressed out because a crowd of fans are making you late for an appearance. You're annoyed, right? Because no one is arranged for transportation, and you have to walk half a mile through a crowd to get to where you need to be. Then, suddenly, you're face to face with a guy who has no arms or legs, who wants to tell you how lucky he is. A guy who went to war on your behalf, comes home with none of his limbs, and wants you to know how much he appreciates what you did for him. I learned that day that Staff Sergeant Travis Mills was missing more than his original parts. He was missing all trace of self-pity. And that's a quality I admire. We've stayed in touch over the years, me and Travis, and recently I had a chance to visit him up in Maine, where he's built a retreat for other servicemen and women who sustained similar injuries in the war. He's the same guy, unflaggingly cheerful, incredibly stubborn, and incapable of whining or complaining. His attitude is the living embodiment of the sweat pledge. And his life begs two really simple questions. If he can get through the day without whining or complaining, why can't I? With respect, why can't anyone? I believe the most annoying sounds in the world are whining and complaining. I'll never make them. And if I am unhappy in my work, I'll either find a new job or I'll find a way to be happy. 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
3 minutes.
That thing's 9 seconds slow.
You know what? I might have not hit it right away.
One job.